Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter provides surgical masks and protective clothing to different hospitals. Due to the epidemic, the Taiwan government increased the daily output of masks by almost 10 times. Welcome to DAI Headlines. I'm Simon Gan. Thanks for joining us. In Indonesia, the number of COVID-19 patients has been increasing at a fast pace, and the government has declared a state of emergency. Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter has been providing epidemic prevention supplies to different hospitals. Here's more.
Dokter kita yang di poliklinik, baik yang di IGD, juga petugas-petugas medis kita, karena kita kan tidak tahu nih pasien yang datang kemari.
As more people are infected with COVID-19, the workload of ER medical staff has increased. They also need more epidemic prevention supplies.
Sehingga kami
Our hospital is an epidemic treatment hospital. Since the epidemic spread, more patients have sought medical care. They are worried that they might even have gotten infected. Our medical staff has to protect ourselves, so we desperately need protective clothing.
Banyak alat perlindungan diri atau yang kita kenal dengan APD.
For the past half a month, Medan City volunteers are providing masks and protective clothing to different hospitals, hoping to support the medical professionals.
Tzu Chi memutuskan untuk membagikan masker.
Government has asked people to stay home. Many hospitals lack epidemic prevention supplies, so we can only do our best to distribute masks we collected to hospitals, hoping to give them the needed support.
Lawan wabah virus corona COVID-19.
Meanwhile, in Binjai, the volunteers are also distributing boxes of surgical masks to support different hospitals.
Karena masker ini di pasaran kan masih langka.
After the epidemic broke out, masks are lacking. Even if we collect them, they are more expensive than usual. Volunteers worry that the medical staff need these supplies, so they've delivered them. This way, they do not have to worry about epidemic prevention supplies.
Para dokter sama perawat dapat melindungi diri.
Terutama APD, masker.
Other hospitals should be like us, facing the shortage of epidemic prevention supplies. Now we don't have enough surgical masks, especially N95 masks. Tzu Chi's donation has helped us a lot.
Kita dapat.
City volunteers are doing their best to support the medical professionals to fight the epidemic.
As the epidemic continues to worsen, the hospitals in Sabah and Sarawak, Malaysia are facing a shortage of epidemic prevention materials. East Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers were immediately mobilized to make protective face shields to help medical personnel through difficult times.
两组人是切那个 sponge， 所以欧阳世博那边一组，这边一组。OK， 第二组呢就是切这个纸条的，这个纸条很多人啊。OK。
The COVID-19 epidemic continues to heat up. In order to ensure the safety of frontline medical personnel, Tzu Chi volunteers in East Malaysia also joined the ranks of making protective shields.
I really want to do something to help. We are not at the front line, but we can help the people serving there. I believe everyone wants to contribute his little effort.
In the beginning, it was a bit difficult to find materials because many stores were not allowed to open. Owing to this carrying activity, they are later called back and said they could provide the materials we need. What touched me most is that they even donated it.
Tzu Chi volunteers combine the resources of the community and the power of everyone together. We can ease many people's mind and be their support.
The love from Tzu Chi volunteers has stirred up ripples of love from the community, showing the spirit of mutual assistance selflessly in this critical time.
The material we received just now is very useful, and we are very thankful that you are also contributing a lot to helping our hospital also.
My full blessings go to medical personnel. I hope that no matter who uses the shield sent by Tzu Chi, they will have 100% protection.
The coronavirus has impacted the lives of many and have put pressure on many health workers and hospital staffs. For this reason, a supplier of coffee for Taling Tzu Chi Hospital prepared homemade coffee and snacks for 2 consecutive days to help elevate some of the pressure felt by the hospital staffs.
The prolonged coronavirus epidemic has put pressure on medical staff with infection control center and epidemic prevention teams. They are responsible for everything from carrying out control measures to education and training, and even releasing the latest epidemic notifications every day.
There is no way to really take a vacation because your heart feels very anxious. The current epidemic changes every day. It's really hard as we all need to do this together. This is a very important part of epidemic prevention. Coffee and snacks cheer us up and make us really feel warm.
A snack cart goes through the hospital and goes to the administrative area, delivering warm wishes. It is the 20th anniversary of this coffee company, which even supported the Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital during SARS. In the face of this corona epidemic, they're providing 1,400 snacks and drinks in a day to pay tribute to the hospital's epidemic prevention colleagues.
Through our coffee and snacks, we give everyone positive energy. We hope everyone can work together to fight this epidemic, hopefully weathering this epidemic. This time, we not only mobilize our medical staff, but also our administrative staff and some of our volunteers, as everyone is united to prevent the epidemic. Thank you so much for this Taiwan coffee. Everyone is coming together for epidemic prevention, and everyone is working hard.
Epidemic prevention operations require total cooperation from everyone to get through this difficult time.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Suzhou, China continue making free vegetarian meals to medical personnel, with volunteers trying to find a vegetarian restaurant that is willing to receive such a large order. The hospital staffs were grateful and hope that the meal provisions will continue.
In this vegetarian restaurant, employees are busy making meals and boxing them. Tzu Chi volunteers in Suzhou help prepare these meal boxes for medical professionals on the front line.
I have a platform for everyone to try out vegetarian meals so they can understand the benefits of eating vegetarian food.
After the meal boxes are ready, they are brought to the Suzhou Municipal Hospital. There are more people ordering vegetarian food this time. Many of them want to try out vegetarian food.
I have the vegetarian dumplings made with shepherd pearls today, and I feel they were fresher and tastier than the meat dumplings. This vegetable is in season, so it is very tasty and fresh, and the taste lingers in my mind.
Today's dumplings are very good. They are all vegetarian. After eating vegetarian food for days, I notice my body is lighter, and it makes me feel very good.
Medical staff who went to Taiwan to train at Tzu Chi facilities also chit-chat with the volunteers.
I was trained for a month in Chi Ji, and it is the most important milestone in my life. It is very helpful to me. We can learn Master Zheng Yan's compassion.
10 years ago, I was a student at Jining Medical College, and I went to Tzu Chi University and Tzu Chi Medical College in Taiwan for an exchange. 10 years ago, I found an affinity in Taiwan, and 10 years later, I met again in Suzhou. So I'm grateful to Tzu Chi's support to our medical work.
One vegetarian meal box brings back many memories from Tzu Chi, and it is very touching during the epidemic period.
Tzu Chi volunteers from Sichuan launched the Go Vegetarian activity, inspiring people in Western China to adopt a meatless diet. They even demonstrated vegetarian cooking on the internet. Over the period of 1 month, a total of 100,000 vegetarian meals were consumed. Let's take a look.
Recording images using mobile phones and uploading it to the internet, the Go Vegetarian activity started in Sichuan, and children are the best spokespersons.
Sweet potato noodles are delicious without meat. This is fried breadstick. It is also yummy without meat.
I used to love eating meat, but now I think vegetables are more yummy. I have to forward it to more people to see.
During the epidemic, volunteers promoted healthy vegetarian food at home using social media. Every day, there were people demonstrating vegetarian cooking and advocating a meatless diet.
I hope this pandemic can raise everyone's awareness. Though persistent promotion at this time, I hope that vegetarian food can be widely accepted.
From February to March, which is more than a month, this activity has spread throughout Western China.
非常好吃，推荐给大家哟。我愿每天一餐素食，让爱苏醒。我住在重庆，我愿意每日一素，为众生祈福。
There have been more than 100,000 people checking in online. The power to go meatless is felt by everyone.
During the epidemic period, Tzu Chi volunteers actively promoted vegetarianism. Volunteers in Beidou and Shiling took turns to cook vegetarian lunch boxes to invite public officers, company employees, and community residents to join the vegetarian trend.
In order to promote vegetarianism to fight virus, Tzu Chi volunteers from Beidou and Shiling districts took turns to prepare vegetarian lunch boxes. To cheer up the firefighters, they deliver the hot meals in time before lunch break.
为了身体的健康以及我们的环境的维护。
To keep our health and to protect our environment, vegetarianism has now become an all-men's campaign. Welcome to join us to eat a vegetarian diet.
There was initially only one Shousan firefighter eating a vegetarian diet, then it became 10. We are happy they're willing to do this, and we hope that they can also adopt a vegetarian diet at home.
Volunteers' vegetarian lunch boxes were well praised, and many company employees and community residents want to purchase them to join this vegetarian trend.
We shouldn't keep increasing the carbon emission amount. Eating a vegetarian diet can decrease the carbon emission.
It's nice to eat a vegetarian diet. My body feels lighter, and I don't feel as heavy as when I was eating meat.
After promoting it to my colleagues, and I encourage them to join vegetarianism. My colleagues has great feedback after testing Tzu Chi's vegetarian cuisine and thought it's delicious.
We should try to eat a vegetarian diet as much as we can because it can ease this epidemic and purify the earth.
The lunchbox without meat is still nutritious and delicious. Not only can it purify the earth, it can also improve our health.
In the past, Taiwan was not a big mass-producing country. The Economics Ministry estimated the daily output of mass in Taiwan was only 1.88 million pieces in 2019. In response to the coronavirus epidemic, the government recruited some 45 mask manufacturers and 29 tool makers to produce tens of millions of masks per day. Follow a report as we learn more.
A small facial mask is an important part of epidemic prevention. Products that have not been valued in the past have become very popular at the moment.
The outer layer will have some anti-static treatment and anti-splash layer. The middle layer is the so-called male brown non-woven material. The first layer and the third layer are both PP.
The technical threshold for producing masks is not very high, but it is necessary to rely on this middle layer melt-blown non-woven material to filter microorganisms. At present, the medical masks requisitioned by the government can only be used for 4 hours. If the masks become wet, they must be replaced to prevent saliva from becoming a virus vector and entering the human body. The demand for such masks is quite large. In fact, Taiwan has always been able to produce various types of medical masks. However, in the past, about 70% have been exported.
In 2019, the production volume of domestic masks is approximately 1.88 million pieces per day. The amount of import is about 1.2 million pieces per day. So the total domestic demand is approximately 2.5 million pieces per day. On top, there is something that constantly descends, and it immediately rolls down to the middle and cools like this. This is a melt-down material roll, which can be quite big, about 160 centimeters. Our masks are actually quite small, so it has to be cut piece by piece, which is another process, which we call slitting.
Melt-blown non-woven materials can actually be used in many industries, and mass production is just a tiny part of applications.
Our process has been adjusted to the so-called flexible manufacturing process, so we can quickly produce melt-blown cloth for masks.
This time, the government recruited a total of 45 mask manufacturers, and the so-called Mask National Team is composed of 29 machine tool manufacturers and 3 legal entities. Before the end of March, a total of 92 mask-producing machines have been assembled. In just 2 months, the production capacity has been pushed from 1.88 million pieces per day to nearly 13 million pieces. This means that there should be no problem with self-sufficiency. Medical protective clothing is also in great demand for negative pressure isolation wards of major hospitals. Taiwan originally had only one manufacturer in this field, as most supply was dependent on imports from DuPont in the United States. The government requisitioned Macalad's Jai factory to have regular output of 10,000 pieces before the end of March. However, after the epidemic, will these mask manufacturers who can reach the limit of capacity face a collapse?
For these anti-epidemic materials, we must do our best to have domestic production. In the future, these masks used by medical institutions should be oriented towards domestic production by local manufacturers.
In addition, some companies have developed advanced cloth materials such as masks that can sterilize or weaken the activity of viruses, along with being environmentally friendly and in line green circular economy ideals.
Can I use less plastic but still achieve the same protective effect? Is it possible to make all the masks biodegradable? This is the task I asked my development team.
The current epidemic has shocked many industries. In the future, Taiwan's national mask team may turn its attention to biotechnology and green energy, hoping to take these industries to international standards with the help of all citizens.
The number of confirmed coronavirus patients in Taiwan is now more than 300. There are rumors on the internet that the coronavirus will remain in the throat for 4 days before reaching the lungs. And some say that gargling with salt water or vinegar can kill the virus. Is this true? Let's find out.
On the internet, there's information that when you feel bacterial infecting starting, rinse your mouth with salt water and the virus can't survive.
Internet rumors say the coronavirus will stay in the throat for 4 days before reaching the lungs. At this time, cough and sore throat will start, and as long as you drink a lot of water, then add salt or vinegar with warm water, you can eliminate the virus. Some people say that this is a message that needs to be communicated to others to save them during this epidemic. Is this true?
I don't really have much faith in this message. If this was the case, I don't think so many people would be sick.
At present, you can only rely on the body's own immune system to rid the virus if you are infected. It is difficult to use mouthwash, salt water, or some external means to kill the virus. I don't think this will be effective.
The doctor said that there is no scientific evidence which indicates gargling with salt or vinegar water will kill the virus. He added there is no evidence the virus would stay in the throat for 4 days. Although infection with the coronavirus will first affect the upper respiratory tract, this does not mean that the virus will stay in the throat first.
Just wash your hands frequently, don't go to many places and run around, and try to avoid crowds as much as possible.
Taking precautions such as frequent hand washing and wear a mask, as well as social distancing, are the best preventative measures to practice during the epidemic.
On the 1st of April 2020, in Taichung's Taiping district, a fire broke out in a metal shack home, resulting in 2 casualties. Meanwhile, in Taichung Situn district, a home caught on fire and residents were trapped on the balcony. Thankfully, firefighters came just in time to rescue them.
White smoke coming from a 3-story cement building has the firefighters acting quickly to put out the fire.
Flames could be seen from the third-floor balcony. There were 3 people trapped. We put up a ladder so they could escape. We also went through the balcony to douse the fire.
People were yelling for help by the second-floor awning. Thankfully, the ladder reached them, and 3 people were rescued.
I heard 2 bangs and I thought it was an earthquake. I wanted to come out and look, and when I opened the door, the fire came inside and we couldn't escape.
Meanwhile, the same night in Taichung, a fire broke out in Taiping. From the view above, one can see the embers still visible. The fire was not a large one and it was quickly contained. However, there was a tragic ending.
Far room to the back on the second floor caught on fire, and after the fire was put out, we discovered 2 bodies inside the room.
This metal shack is the home of 61-year-old Miss Shen and her 20-some-year-old son. The son works night shifts, so he was not home at the time. In the morning, volunteers from the 2 districts visited their respective disaster survivors to present to them consolation cash, a care package, and also help the family members should they need further assistance.
Next, we head to China, where we meet Tian Xiuying, whose husband passed away 7 years ago and has to take care of a son who has progressive muscular dystrophy. She makes a living by shining shoes and also receives government subsidies, but that typically just covers the medical expenses of her son. More recently, her son's condition has worsened and she's unable to shine shoes. Thus, Tzu Chi came to help in the form of monetary aid and also help her find a pharmaceutical company to sell her son's medication at cost. Let's take a look.
When visiting Tian Xiuying's apartment, the first thing you see when entering the home is her son, who is bedridden. Tian's husband passed away 7 years ago, and her son has progressive muscular dystrophy. Tian makes money by shining people's shoes and receives subsidies from the government, so she can afford to pay her son's medical fees.
It's normally 3 yuan to shine a pair of shoes. When it's the holiday, it's a bit more like 4 to 5. I get more business in December and January when it's 5 yuan a pair. Usually, I take my son with me to shine shoes, but the doctor says he needs to be with his oxygen tank each day. So I haven't been going out much anymore.
As the son's illness progresses, the family's finances are in trouble. Tzu Chi comes to help. They were able to get in touch with a pharmaceutical company, which agreed to sell the medicine the son needs at cost to Tian, while Tzu Chi Foundation is covering her living expenses. Tzu Chi filling her pockets with love, the single mother has one less thing to worry about. The volunteers will continue to accompany this family as the days go on.
In Changhua County, Taiwan, an egg roll shop drew boxes on the ground with a distance of 1 meter each to prevent the risk of contracting the coronavirus. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.